Selva Pradeep, my dear delegates of this STTP, good morning. I am very happy to be with you during the third day of this short-term training program on unlocking research potential with the cutting-edge tools. Actually, I thought of joining this STTP on the first day, but on the day, since we had our Autonomous Academic Council meeting, today I am finding time to be with you during the third day of this STTP. First of all, I congratulate the organizers for choosing the topic of this STTP as unlocking research potential with the cutting edge tools, which is the need of the hour and which is common for all programs, which is interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, as well as multidisciplinary. Therefore, it's my duty to congratulate the organizers for choosing the right topic for this STTP. And regarding the research, nowadays it forms the integral part of the education. And regarding the modern research tools, they are digital and AI-powered applications designed to streamline the entire research cycle from literature discovery and data analysis and reference management. These research tools vastly improve the efficiency by automating routine tasks, finding hidden connections in the data, and organizing complex information. While looking at the key tools, AI research and discovery, including Google's Notebook LM, or literature review and reference management, Google Scholar or Science Direct, data analysis or Python, for writing and publishing, LaTeX, Grammarly, Turnitin, and so on. And while looking at the various sessions for these 6 days STTP, the organizers again identified the right topics related with the title of this STTP, related with AI for research, networking tools, smart literature review and research writing. Today's session, data analysis, visualization and experimentation, innovation, pattern searching and research publication, and research project development. Therefore, again, it's my pleasure to congratulate the organizers for choosing the right titles for each day's session. And again, for each session, they have identified the right personalities as the resource person who are eminent in the respective field, ranging from the resource persons from abroad, Abu Dhabi, Kazakhstan, and other states, Alliance University, Bangalore, IIIT, Kottayam, and today's resource person from Cape Institute of Technology, Kanyakumari, and a software industry with Infotech. And therefore, starting from the title of this short-term training program, as well as the titles for various sessions, and the identifying the resource persons, Really, I congratulate the organizers for choosing the topics as well as identifying the right personalities as the research for the various sessions. And on behalf of the management of St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, it's my pleasure to welcome the resource person of today's session, Dr. Swamy from Cape Institute of Technology and Engineering. So, hearty welcome, sir. And again, it's my pleasure to welcome all the delegates of this short-term training program. And really, on behalf of our institution, I appreciate all the delegates who are joining and attending this STTP for enriching their knowledge in research. And what we are interested in the outcome of this STTP is the participants at the end of this STTP will be able to perform AI-assisted literature and review and to familiarize with the modern research tools. And our wishes to all the resource persons and all the delegates. And once again, it's my duty to congratulate the heads of the departments, faculty advisors, and the coordinators from the departments of CSE, ECE, and EEE of St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering for taking efforts in organizing this STTP in a successful way. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With immense pleasure, I welcome our esteemed resource person, Dr. S.M. Swamy, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Cape Institute of Technology. He has more than 10 years of teaching experience and also research and academic administrations. With a background of PhD, he has published many articles in the reputed journals. His area of interest are AI-based predictive modeling, machine learning, medical image analysis, and sustainable technologies. Now he is going to handle a session on smart literature review and research writings. On behalf of management of St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Electronics and Communication Engineering, and Electrical and Electronics Engineering, I extend a warm welcome you, dear sir. Once again, I welcome you, sir, to start the session. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Salopati, sir, for your warm welcome. And I would like to extend my thanks to St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering and Principal, sir, for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. Sir, I can share my screen now so that. Salopati, sir, kindly confirm that is that visible now? My screen?
Sir, yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So, good morning, everyone. Myself, I am Swamy from Cape Institute of Technology. Actually, today my topic is smart literature review and research writing. So the thing is, like, I just want to share a few of my points regarding literature review and how I am approaching the literature review and what are the importance of literature review and how writing the literature review is, becomes somehow easy when compared to, our previous days. So these are the things I'm going to share a few of my experience right now. So the first thing is like starting with actually what is literature review. why we are going for the literature review. See, normally when we getting into the PhD when we getting into the research, we just want to, most of the supervisor or guide insist us to go for the literature review. The thing is like the literature review is the part where we are going to identify the actual problem for our research. So without literature review, we are not supposed to getting into the actual problem, or we are unable to find the problem of the research. So that is the reason why, main key reason why we are going for the literature review. So the purpose of the literature review is the, the systematic and critical analysis of the previously published research article in a specific topic. So it examines, what other researchers have already discovered, the method they used, the results they obtained, and the limitation of the particular study. So that is very important. Say, for example, if our research area is related to medical image denoising, the literature review will analyze previous denoising method, their performance, strength, weakness, challenges that remains unsolved. So this is the actual point why we are seeking for the literature. So when we getting into the literature, there are some common problems. Most of the researcher face. These are the problems while we are getting into the research. So those problems we can see. So once we, as a first when we getting into the research, we are getting into the literature review. So this, in that time, we are facing some common problems. These are the pain points which we actually face while we getting into writing, or while we are studying the literatures. So where do I start? So which paper should I read? How do I understand the complex paper? How do I organize the multiple articles? How do I convert the ideas into the writing skill, and how, whether the particular idea is novel, and what kind of reviewer comment we can expect. These are the common things we can face while we getting into the research problems. So these things we can easily overcome. You know what, the literature review is not about reading more papers, it's about solving the problem systematically and efficiently. So this is the key point. So in that case, how to overcome these challenges? So to overcome these challenges, researchers should first clearly define their research topic and objective, the first point. Then they should use right keywords to search for the relevant papers and focus on quality research article. Quality research article in the sense we should focus on, the high reputed standard journals like, ACA standard journals, or minimum, we have to select the papers from the Scopus. So that is the point. We can't supposed to take any papers from any journals. We have to stick on with the high standard reputed papers. It is important to organize the collected papers properly, analyze them critically, and identify the gap in existing research. There are some AI tools which help us to conserve our time. Previously, if you want to go for the literature review, means we have to go down all the papers, and then we have to study each and every papers, and we have to extract some key points from that paper, and then those key points we have to convert it into the papers. So the structures remain same. There is no change now itself. But getting the paper, where to get the paper, these kind of things, it changes, and some AI tools will help us to conserve some time, and also it helps us to produce some good quality literature review paper. So the topic is smart literature. I just want to give my point of view of smart literature review. So many researchers may definitely make some sort of mistakes directly searching the paper, reading the paper, getting directly into the searching and reading the paper. Actually, it's not like that. The smart literature review start by clearly defining the research problem. So without knowing the problem, if we randomly going for searching the paper, means definitely it will prolong the research time. Say, for example, if I want to work on medical image denoising, the first I need to define the problem, what problem I am trying to solve. Say, for example, such as removing mixed noise. See, in the denoising, there are several types of noise are there. What kind of noise I am going to focus, or do I go with multiple noise, or am I focusing on one single data set or multiple data set? These are the things I have to define first before getting into the actual research. Next, to identify the right keywords like medical image denoising, deep learning, MRI denoising, noise removal. These are the keywords in this particular research context. So these are the keywords I have to very keen about keen about it. Using the right keywords, I can search for relevant papers from the source like Google Scholar, Scopus, SCI, and specifically if we talk about the journal name, Science Direct, IEEE, Springer, Taylor and Francis. So these are some specific reputed journals where we can search the paper and we can get it. So after collecting the paper, we just want to read all of them, and all of them in the sense previously we have to do read all of them, but right now there are some AI tools which help us to get actually the essence of the paper. So we need not want to read all the complete paper thoroughly. We just want to feed the paper in the AI and we can get some sort of inputs, like we can talk with that paper. So what is the objective, what is the novelty, what is the problem statement, what is the actual advantages in this paper, how the advantages overcome with the proposed methodology. So these are the things we can get from some AI tools, like even from ChatGPT also we can get that insights. ChatGPT is a minimum level AI tool which we used for paper writing. So where we can get the insights like how the paper, we need not want to sit and read the paper from the abstract to conclusion. We just read the paper and ask the questions like what is the actual objective, what is the problem statement, what is the things methodology stated in the paper, how the methodology overcomes the other techniques. These are the things we can easily, raising the question, we can get the answer from the paper, answer from the ChatGPT. So after collecting, so I just want to mention very clearly that results, how the proposed methodology produced the results in that paper and how the results overcome the other techniques results. So these points we have to extract from the paper while we are doing the literature. So the next step is like critical analysis. Instead of only looking for the results, the question is like, what are the limitations, what problem remains unsolved? For example, we may find the most exciting method works only on MRI image. In our research, we are doing the medical image denoising, means some sort of techniques or method apply only on for certain images. So it's that proposed methodology is defined or designed only for that particular images, or it is applicable for multimodal images. These are the things we have to look around and get the actual essence from the paper. So these types of understanding will drive you to develop our own methodology and our own kind of idea in a novel way. So the smart literature is not about reading hundreds of paper. It is about systematically finding what has already been done, identifying what is missing, and converting the knowledge into meaningful research contribution. So these are the basic things I have explained. Let me explain one by one in detail. The first thing is like define the research problem. So before starting the literature review, as we discussed earlier, before starting the literature review, we must clearly understand what problem we are trying to solve. Actually, many researchers make mistake of directly searching and reading the paper without defining their actual problem. As a result, they spend a lot of time reading the paper, but still do not know what their research direction is. A well-defined research problem acts as a GPS for a research journey. It tells you where to go and what paper to read and what information to focus on. Let me give you some sort of example. Imagine that you are in a library and you tell the librarian, I need a book. So definitely the librarian may ask you that what kind of book, because randomly asking the book doesn't gives the clarity to the librarian that what kind of things you are looking for. So definitely he will ask a question like what kind of book you are in need. So because there are thousands of books available, literally similar to if you are in our research context, like if you are looking for medical image denoising work, means if you are searching with a keyword like artificial intelligence or some other keywords, means definitely it won't give you the actual paper to search. So in that case, we have to very precise on what you are asking. If you are asking AI-based medical image denoising for MRI image or for a certain image, means you will get the much more relevant results. So that is very important. So if you don't define your research problem clearly, the internet will give you thousands of paper, but if you define it clearly, it will provide you the right paper. So getting the right paper instead of getting a mess up with a lot of paper means definitely it will take a lot of your time. A clear research problem, with a clear research problem, you can save time, improve focus, and guide the entire literature review process. So this is the first point I just want to convey. And the second point is like identifying the right keywords. Identifying right keywords in the sense that is what I have discussed previously also. After defining the research problem, the next step is identifying the keywords. Keywords are important because they help us find the relevant papers quickly. So say, for example, as I told you earlier, if my research problem is medical image denoising, I can use the keywords such as medical image denoising, deep learning, MRI, CT, X-ray, CNN, and kind of other, the techniques names called transformer and all. By combining these keywords, I can perform smart search and obtain high quality research paper related to my topic. The quality of the literature review depends on the quality of the keywords. As we know well, not only in the paper searching, in any Google search or any ChatGPT search, if you are trying to give the appropriate question or appropriate keyword, means you will get the well-defined answer for our queries. So that is similar to this literature review paper searching also. And the third point is search research paper. And the 3 points is almost related to one by one. Defining the problem, searching the right keywords, searching with the right keywords. These all comes for the searching the research paper. After identifying the keyword, the next step is to search for the relevant search paper. The goal is not to collect 100 of papers, but to find most relevant, recent, and high quality study related to your research problem. Just like getting thousands of papers or few hundreds of papers doesn't mean we are going to make the good or quality literature review. We have to find the right paper, suitable paper for our research context. So that will give you the enhance the quality of the literature review. So if I want to give you another one example, means imagine that you want to buy a mobile phone. So in that case, you can't supposed to, if you went to the shop and you can't supposed to open all the mobile phone boxes and search for it, which one you want. You have to be very clear that what kind of phone you are going to buy. So in that those things will be clearly in your mind. So with that only you are going to approach your shop and applying for the mobile purchase. So what kind of things you are planning is like the budget of the phone, the brand, the feature, and the rating. Similarly, when searching for the research paper, we should apply filters such as publishing year, journal quality, citation, and relevance. How relevant the topic is with our research. So where to search? So there are few, the few places where we can find the research papers. Scopus, IEEE, Google Scholar, and then specific journals like Science Direct, Springer, Taylor and Francis, and several MDPI. MDPI means mostly open access journal. So in each journal there are two sort of things. We are trying to find some open access journal and some paid version of journal also. Actually, the AI tools, using the AI tools, it does not replace the researcher. It helps researcher to find, analyze, and organize knowledge faster and more effective. That is what we are going to use AI for this kind of work. The pattern or the structure we are following to write a quality review paper remains same in compared to the old method. But the only thing like the processing. Say for example, getting the paper previously we are approaching only the Google Scholar. Right now there are several AI tools which help us to get a high quality paper related to our research topic. That is how the AI getting into the research area. So most of them may think like if we use ChatGPT or any sort of AI, giving the keyword, it won't bring the entire literature review on the one chat. If it is possible, means it won't be a right research. The thing is like we should know how to write the literature and what are the steps involved in the literature. So knowing all the things only, we can use AI tools to save our time. That is the only thing we can do. And the next step is like screen and filtering process. Filtering process in the sense, after searching the paper, The next step is the screening and filtering. We may find 100 of papers, but not all of them are useful. Therefore, we should select paper based on the relevance, publishing year, citation, journal quality. These are the parameters mostly we are focusing on. Finding the right paper in the reputed journal is actually fact, so that the authenticity will be more. Instead of reading every paper completely, we can first read the title, abstract, and conclusion to determine whether the paper is relevant. This helps us focus on most important studies and avoid information overload. So the next step is create literature matrix. So the literature matrix, in the sense, after selecting the most relevant paper, the next step is to organize the information in a structured format called literature matrix. So this is what the thing is like. Literature matrix, in the sense, we have to make a table or column like author, method, results, and limitation. So these parameters are very much helpful to extract the actual content from the literature. So who is the author of the paper? What kind of techniques or method they used in their own paper, and how much results they obtain, and what are the limitations. This limitation will help us to overcome certain issues, and where to focus and where to apply our own research to sort out the existing problem. So this is the most important key parameter that we want to consider in the literature review. The literature matrix helps researcher compare different studies, understand existing method, identify limitation, and discover research gap more easily. It's like a comparison table and very important for the research paper. The thing is like, it is similar to that if you're planning to buy a car, instead of remembering all the information that you get it from the shop, get it from the other branch, you can supposed to remain all the information. Once we make it in a table of problem, you may get a clear picture, like what is the specification, what is the price range, how one car differ from other car. The similar thing is like in the paper also. We can easily categorize which technique prefer better results and what is the limitation of that particular technique. These are the information we can get. So this is simply the way that literature, while framing this kind of information, it transforms the collection of paper into the organized knowledge. Then the next step is like critical analysis and existing research. So after creating the literature matrix, the next step is critical analysis. This is where the researcher move beyond simply reading the paper and start evaluating. The goal is to understand the strength, weakness, limitation, and opportunities in the existing literature. The main point we have to remember is the literature review is not about describing the paper, it is about analyzing the paper. See, that is what we mentioned in the previous table, that what we are focusing on. So in the other example, if you want to tell, means like, suppose you are buying, as we discussed earlier, that if you are planning to buy a mobile phone, means you don't just read the specification. You may ask the questions to the shops, or you may search for certain questions like, is the camera is good, or how the battery life is, and what is the drawback, is that worth buying. Similar to this kind of research, in the research paper also, we have to evaluate the research paper critically. If I want to give you an example with this table, means say, like, if CNN based model achieves 95% means accuracy, means the MRI does the paper concentrate only on the MRI image, or is that focus on any other images? If it is focused only on MRI images only, means so there is certain limitation. We doesn't know how this CNN perform in other CT or X-ray images. So that is the limitation. We have to work. We have to find another one paper how the CNN applicable in other kind of images. So with that only come to the point. And with this limitation, we are planning to develop another one model which produce better results when in all the database. So like that we can frame our own methodology. So just finding if we find that CNN performs better results 95% in MRI only means it doesn't mean the research stop at that point. The critical researcher definitely will ask, was that tested on only an MRI image? Was that data size is what will be the data size, the data set size? Can it be work on CT or MRI image? What is the computational cost, and is that model explainable in a well procedures? So these are the things we have to focus on. So getting all the information, we come to the point where how the proposed methodology works on that particular platform. So what kind of analysis, like what does the paper do well? Say for example, is that high accuracy, fast processing, or good image quality? And like weakness in the sense, what are the limitations? Small set data set, high training time, limited generation, and what kind of methodology they used. Like is the proposed method appropriate? CNN works well for local features, may struggle with the long range dependency. So these are the things also we have to focus on. Data set size, data set is very important. How much volume of data set they consider in this research, and is that paper carry the future scope of the research? These are the things we have to focus on. Does the model support multi-model or lightweight model? Everything we have to focus on to get the clean idea. So these are the critical analysis we have to make while going for that literature review. And the next case is identifying the research gap. So in identifying the research gap, it's like the difference between the summarizing the paragraph and critical analysis. I just want to explain. So if author A proposed CNN and achieves 95% of accuracy, and author B proposed transformer, in this case transformer, and it achieves 97% accuracy, means this is just framing these kind of words just shows only it is a summary of the research. But the good literature review holds the point something like the CNN based method provides effective noise suspension and computational efficiency. However, their ability to capture long range dependency remains limited. The transformer based approach addresses this limitation, their goals attention mechanism, but requires significantly high computational resources. This is how the critical analysis frame. So in other words, the critical analysis means evaluating existing research instead of simply describing it. We should identify the strength, weakness, limitation, and opportunity of each study. Say for example, a method may achieve high accuracy, but it may only work on small data or specific application. By critically analyzing research paper, we can understand what has been done well and what still need improvement. So this process helps us identify meaningful research gap and develop novel research ideas. So research identifying this is how the critical analysis works. So identifying the research gap. After critical analysis, existing study, the next step is to identify the research gap. A research gap is an area where existing research is incomplete. Existing research is incomplete in the sense every researcher try to identify a problem, and they for that particular problem they try to develop a methodology to solve that particular problem, but all the problems or all the gaps are not filled. Definitely there are some certain gaps in most of the researchers. Like what they mention is in the conclusion is they are taking that gap to solve the gap in a future work, so, something like that they have mentioned. So whenever we read a research paper, I'm sure that definitely you may find a gap in that paper, most of the paper. So those things they have mentioned it in the paper itself in the limitation or in the future gap, you may find what is the actual research gap in the paper. So that is what mentioned. A research gap is an area where the existing paper is incomplete, insufficient, or has not yet provided an effective solution, which means the solution is not completed. Definitely, there is a way, or there is a possible chance to improve the results, but that particular paper is not considering the full-fledged results. So that is what mentioned here. A research gap is what missing in the existing research. This is the most important step because research paper, thesis, and PhD or PhD work are built on solving those research gaps. Suppose if in a real time example, if I want to tell means, suppose we are planning to travel to Chennai, Nagarkoil to Chennai. This is what our objective is means. Our first step is like while we are processing that journey from Nagarkoil to Chennai, we are going to find roads exist. Yes, roads exist. Bus are available. Yes, bus are available. Trains are available. Trains are available. Yes. So next step is like what are the other mode of transport means flight, but there is no direct flight from Nagarkoil to Chennai. So this is the problem. The missing service become the problem here. So so what are the possible chance here is like if you want to go faster means we have to go by road or by through bus, car, or through train. So because there is no flight directly from Nagarkoil to Chennai. So this is the problem. So if you want to move faster means we have to go with nearly to Thukudi or Trivandrum to get a flight to move to Chennai. So identifying the problem give you the solution for your particular objective. Similarly, in the research, we look for what missing in the existing research. So that is very, very, very important. What is missing in the research? So the missing in the research in the sense existing study in the table it is clearly mentioned like existing study. They have mentioned 3 papers: paper A, paper B, and paper C, and what are the methods they used in that particular paper, and what are the limitations they find in that in the corresponding papers. So these are the research gap. While getting this information from the survey literature reviewed paper, we can clearly getting into the picture like so this is what the problem is like, so this is where we are stuck in. So with that we can approach this kind of methodology to overcome this problem. Like that we can getting some sort of ideology to move on. So observation in the sense means methods are accurate, method having limitation, no single method addressing all the challenges. These are the things we are focusing on. So in the terms of denoising work, existing denoising methods are primarily designed for single modality medical images and do not provide a generalized solution for MRI, CT, and X-ray images. So getting this kind of information will clearly direct us to what problem remains unsolved. Say, for example, noise still exists in low quality medical image. So how to find the research gap? First of all, what problem remains unsolved that we have to get into. So in that case, noise still exists in the low quality image. What are the common limitations? Like, as we discussed earlier, size of the data set, complexity of that particular model, lack of explainability, and what has not been explored. So multimodal image denoising. Say, if we supposed to seek for the paper means we may find several papers with a several methodology, but each methodology take one single data set. Like either they go with the MRI, CT, or that X-ray images. Some paper they may go with 2 images with a different combination. So our area is to identify what are the areas, what are the images, and what are the possible data sets are available. Our model has to work on all 3 databases, which means that is what said to be the multimodal image denoising. So if there is no papers which is related to multimodal denoising means we can go with those kind of ideology. That information we get it only from reviewing the literature only. What can be improved? maybe we can go with better accuracy or the computational timing or processing, fast processing, cost of the computational cost. These are the things we can get some insights while making the literature. So what objective, what is the purpose, what is the process, and what is the objective we are going to solve with our methodology. That is what mentioned, like, analyzing the limitation of the existing study, identifying unanswered questions, find explored research area, discover opportunities for improvement, convert limitation into research ideas, define meaningful research gaps. So these are the things we can get it from the research ideas, research gap. And the next section is established novelty. So in this case, after identifying the research gap, the next step is to establish the novelty. So in the literature, what is meant by novelty? The novelty means introducing new idea, framework, or application or improvement that address the identified research gap. See, without knowing what is the actual problem in the particular research context, we doesn't know how to solve, where to solve, and all. So that is what we are going for the literature review. So in the literature review, the output we expect or outcome we get it from the literature is the research gap. The research gap tells us what is missing, and the novelty tells us how we plan to solve it. If I want to say this with the real-time problem means, imagine the people are facing traffic problem in a city. Heavy problem is all about the traffic issue, like heavy traffic congestion. The research gap is like existing traffic system do not provide a real-time route optimization. The novelty here lies on developing a smart traffic management system that predict congestion and suggest alternative route. So there are two options. So normally we are traveling in a road and we may find some sort of traffic jam or traffic congestion in a particular place, means we are getting frustrated and we feel that why this traffic happened. So this is the problem. Traffic is happening, and if we ask the question like why this traffic congestion is happening, means that is what where the question gives you the problem. Identify in the research gap why this particular traffic congestion is happening. So with that question, with that identification of research gap only, we can provide the solution how to resolve that particular traffic congestion in that particular place. So in the general way of providing solution is like we have to go with the smart traffic management system by predicting, the with the time and all, we have to give the alternate route to the vehicles so that we can resolve the traffic congestion. So the novelty is the solution of identifying the research gap. If you have a research gap, if you find the solution, that is what's said to be a novelty. Because the problem is exist, without providing the solution, it won't get resolved. So that is what's said to be the novelty. Uh, you know, Once we identify the research gap, we need to develop a novel solution. Novelty is not necessarily inventing something complex new. It can be important integrating optimization of a new application of existing method. Existing method means the traffic process is there, traffic management is there, but there is still some issues are there in the traffic management. So that is the reason why we are regulating the particular process with our own methodology or with the new methodology to resolve the process. In terms of medical, as we said earlier, in medical image means, say for example, if existing medical image denoising method works only on MRI image, we can develop a generalized framework that works on MRI, CT, and X-ray images. This transforms research gap into meaningful research contribution. That is how it develops from the one form to the another. There is a problem, and we are providing the solution for the problem. And that problem gets resolved. So that is what the solution is. That is what the novelty is, because your own methodology solved a particular problem. And So another one point in the novelty is like demonstrate originality and innovation. So I'm sure that once the problem is resolved means it will be a novel method only, but it won't be in the research point of view. It won't copy paste from any other literature or any other paper. So in that case, it may get plagiarism and the chance of paper rejection is also high. So that should be very clear about that. Once we proposed any topic, that should be a novel one. That topic should not exist anywhere around the globe. So write a literature review. So after identifying the research gap and establishing the novelty, the final step is to write a literature review. The purpose of the literature review is not to list a paper one by one, but to present a clear story of what has been done, what limitation exists, and why your research is needed. So these 3 points are very, very important. Uh, this story will convey what is the actual the potential of the paper and how our own methodology overcome the process or the problem in the existing methodology. So that is why they consider 3 important cases: uh, what has been done and what limitation exists and why your research is needed. A good literature review connect existing research to your proposed research, because the proposed research, we are proposing a new research, that proposed research is going to solve a problem which is not solved by the existing any ideology or any methodology. Say for example, you are watching a movie. A good movie has a beginning, middle, and the end section. Similarly, in the literature review, should have a beginning, middle, and the end. Beginning, the start with what research has been done. In the middle of the section, what are the strength and limitation of the particular research. And in the final part, what research gap still exists. So these 3 points define the quality of the actual literature review. This naturally leads to your proposed method also. Actually, writing the literature review is not about describing every paper individually. Instead, we should organize the study logically and compare their findings, identify the strength and limitation, and highlight the research gap also. Research gap, highlighting the research gap is the key part. The literature review should clearly explain what has been done and what is missing and why our proposed research is necessary. So a well-written literature review, naturally leads to reader to understand importance of a proposed work. The literature review actually should tell a story that leads for existing knowledge to a new research contribution. The main point is like researcher do not become successful by reading more research paper. They become successful by identifying what existing paper have missed and proposed meaning solutions. That is very, very important. So this is the actual literature flow. Uh, So if you want to know how to write a research literature review paper in a well-structured manner, means this is what the step-by-step process is all about. The first step is like define the research problem, as we discussed earlier. It should clearly define the research problem. And the second thing is like search research papers. So, as we discussed, there are search research papers. We used Google Scholar or any particular journal journals to search for the high quality research paper. So nowadays, as we discussed, there are a lot of AI tools like Perplexity, um, Consensus, and GenAI. These are the tools we can that also help us to find papers instead of going for the normal Google search. And we may find some open access paper also there in the AI tools, as similar to normal individual journal search. And And the second, like keyword, first the define research problem, and then identifying the keywords. As we discussed earlier, keywords lead us to produce high quality, also the good quality and relevant paper to our research context. Screen and filter the paper. Screen and filter the paper is once we give the keyword and initiate the searching process, we may get a few 50s or 100 papers, but we want to restrict with the paper which is highly suitable or highly relevant to our research topic. So that case only going with the screen and filtering process. So in that case, we may get some 100 papers, means some papers which are not related to the research area, some papers which are restrict with some year, old papers are there, that we will restrict. We have to focus on last 3 to 5 years of paper. That will be helpful for us to narrow down our own research, because recent papers only discuss about the recent problems. If you're going for the old paper, we doesn't know whether the problem is solved or unsolved. So in that case, specifically, we can go with the recent papers. So those filtering process happens in the screen and filtering process. Uh, so previously, we want to open the paper and study the paper. Nowadays, there are tools integrated in their own website also. If you want to go with open access, say for example, if you go for a science direct paper search, means you can simply give the keywords and you can make a filter in like selecting the year. And if you want open access also, you can checklist tick, make a tick in the checkbox like produce only open access paper. So in that case, getting all the input information, it will generate show the paper only on your required filtering things. Then create literature matrix. As we said, that literature matrix in the sense that we create a table. That tables tell you how the authors and what are the parameters they consider, methods, data set, and the results, limitation, everything will be there. That is what said to be the create literature matrix. And then the critical analysis. And the critical analysis, the thing is like, why this paper is important, what are the strength of the paper, what are the weakness of the paper, and the methodology they consider, the data set they consider, and what will be the future scope of the paper. These are the things, it's very much essential in the, the critical analysis of the existing research. And then identifying the research gap. All the parameters, identifying the research gap is the key thing. This is what the outcome of the literature review. Getting the outcome of the literature research gap only, we are going for the new paper. The second level, if you've done your research literature review, the second stage is you're going for the actual research. So if you want to go with the actual research, the input we are getting from the literature review output. The output of the literature is considered to be the input of the your next actual paper. The output of the literature review, the main point is the identifying the research gap. Once the gap is identified, then based on that gap only we are going to formulate the problem. We are going to develop a model and how the model going to apply in the particular research gap, and we are going to do that in that aspect only. And then establish the novelty. Novelty in the sense, as we discussed that what is the how the proposed method is applied, and what is the novel method implies in this particular things. These are the novelty section we discussed. If we are going for the, as we discussed in the previous case, like traffic management means novel means how they, if you are integrating AI for the traffic management in the sense, then the AI based smart traffic management is the novelty of the particular research gap. So AI based smart management, traffic management means there are several AI models are there, and how your own model overcome the traffic research gaps and all. This is what the novelty. So with this ideology, you can write a literature review. So here I'm sharing some few AI searching tools like Semantic Scholar, GenAI, Consensus, Semantic Scholar, Perplexity. So these are the few AI tools we are working on. So actually you have to make a clear idea, like AI tools doesn't produce the literature in its own. you should know very clearly how to write a literature and why the literature is important and what area you want to focus. The reason AI tools are help you to conserve the time, save your time to identifying the proper paper, identifying the research topic. But you should know, you should detect that what sort of things I want to extract from the paper. That definitely you should know. The AI won't know. AI tool will extract the things from the efficiently from the paper. You have to raise a question. If you want to raise a question, means you should know what are the essence you have to extract from the paper, for what reason you want that data. So these things you want to know, and the recently developed AI tools will help you to make that process in a quicker way. Previously, if you want to write a literature, means definitely it will take more than 3 to 5 months to write a literature, a high quality literature with 100 to 150 papers. But nowadays it will take 25 days to wind up the entire things. The reason of saving nearly 4 to 5 months in writing the literature paper is because of AI tools. We have to thank the AI tools to do the process in a shorter time and also in a quality way. So I'm going to share few, searching research tools like, define research topic. You can easily use ChatGPT to find your research problem. Uh, Same research problem in the sense there are several tools like one ChatGPT process. Like say for example, if you take any existing paper and you want to study the paper, means you simply feed the paper in the ChatGPT and you may raise a question like what is the objective of the paper, what is the methodology they used in this paper, why they consider that particular methodology in that research context, what are the data set they used. Like that, you may raise a questions, upload the paper and raise the questions. The ChatGPT will analyze the paper completely or thoroughly, and it will answer your question. Other PDF chat, there are several. Even Perplexity also do the same. Gen AI will do the same. Consensus will do the same. So these things, these AI tools will help us to get the actual content present in the paper. Previously, we want to study from the title to conclusion, we want to study. Nowadays, it is not mandatory. We can get the information just by feeding the paper, and we should know. And my humble request to you is, once you are new to the research, getting the values, you can get the ideas from the ChatGPT, and if possible, try to read the paper, at least 2 to 3 papers, so that you come to know how they write the paper, how the literature paper or normal paper, how they write the paper. So what is the procedure and how they draft the paper, how they narrow down the concept one by one, step by step. These are the information you can get only by studying the paper. The ChatGPT or any AI tool won't give you the clear structure how to write a paper. They may give, but that is not up to actual journal standard. If you're supposed to get the information just like ChatGPT or any other AI tools, definitely it will give questions, or it will raise multiple questions from the reviewer point of view, why these kind of things happen and why you use this kind of technique. And at the time of reviewer command, it won't be justified. You can't justify those things. If you're supposed to get the content from the ChatGPT or any other AI tool, it won't be get justified, and definitely the paper will get rejected. Most of the time, the paper will get rejected because of getting the content blindly from the ChatGPT and paste it in the paper and give it back to the journal. So in that case, two sort of things will happen. One first thing is like plagiarism, and then previously only if you are using Turnitin, they will check only for the plagiarism. Right now, they check whether the content is human written or AI content. So they definitely catch this content related to human AI content, and they won't cross the paper to the next level, even to the reviewer. So use ChatGPT or any other AI tools only for your betterment of the paper quality, or only to save the time. You can't supposed to bypass the traditional way of traditional understanding of paper with the AI. You can use AI to save your time. See, previously you want to study the paper. Nowadays you can feed the paper and get the actual content from the paper, and then formulate the paper according to the traditional way only. So that is the only thing. And another one thing is like search paper. This is for the research, topic definition. Then there is paper search. Paper search, previously we are using two ways. One is Google Scholar, and another one we can get it from the individual journals, that Science Direct or IEEE. where we can get the individual papers. But right now there are several tools, Elicit, Semantic Scholar, consensus, consensus. These are the few AI tools where you can get the paper, and few other tools are there. Perplexity also you can get the paper, high standard, and even that new another one that I just forgot the name of the AI tool. Claude, you can get the paper. So there are several tools, but getting the paper, getting the actual paper is previously via only Google Scholar or through any individual journal portal. But right now there are several AI tools which will produce you the paper according to your expectation. So this will save a lot of time. Previously, you want to go with the subscription, and you have to get actual subscription, or you have to go with one by one journal. Definitely, it will take a lot of time. But right now, it is not a big deal. You can put the keywords, and you can even give the time year range also, and you can even specify the journals. These are the journals I'm targeting. Target only on that particular journal. Based on your search, it will produce the paper. So this information getting through AI, it will save your time. For that, you can use the AI. And for the seminal papers, the step 3, you can use Research Rabbit, Lit Maps, and connected papers. So Research Rabbit, Lit Maps, connected papers, these are the things used to identify the most relevant paper to your research context. So you can get the papers from the previously mentioned topic also, but you can get some, some other papers also, maybe out of context, something which is not related to your research focus. Maybe there may be a chance, but these 3 tools, you can exactly get what importance in the paper, what importance the research context is all about. So with that, you can certainly save some kind of time or some time in reading with the other non-relevant papers. So as I told earlier, read and understand the paper. Once you get all the paper, say for example, you are going for the literature review, means you probably you may collect nearly 100 to 150 papers for the literature. Once you segregate and filter all the papers out of 300 or 400 papers and come down with 100 to 150 papers, that 100 to 150 papers you should read previously. You have to read the papers thoroughly, or at least abstract, methodology, or conclusion to understand the basic ideology of the paper. So that only you can go with the literature previously. But right now, as I told you earlier, there are several tools, AI tools, SciSpace, PDF Chat, and ChatGPT, and Perplexity, Claude. So these things will help us, understanding the paper in a easy way. They will get the paper from us and study the paper, and they will provide you the actual key insights what the paper try to address. So getting the information just by feeding the PDF in that particular AI tool, it's more like saving our lot of time. Previously, if we sit and study the entire paper, means it will take minimum of, for a beginner, definitely it will take 2 to 3 days, and for a person expertise, means even whoever it may be, it will take minimum 2 hours or 3 hours to understand the complete paper, whoever it may be. But right now, even though if you are a beginner, you can easily get the understanding in just 1 hour or 2 hours. You can completely, almost 70 to 80%, you may get idea from that research paper just within 1 or 2 hours. Uh, the point is like the paper will answer the content in the paper will answer you. So that is actually a very good factor than saving the time when compared to the tradition. And there are also several specific tools like SciSpace, uh, uh, chat PDF chat previously is a separate app. Right now it's merged with the SciSpace also, so that it is mentioned like SciSpace, PDF chat, and ChatGPT. Then verify finding in the sense getting the results. What findings is there in the literature? Use Scite.ai to check whether the results finding are supported by the later studies. Uh, Finding in the sense, if you give that paper, that particular AI tool will produce you the insights, like what exact findings the paper address, what is the paper meant for. This is what the paper say. For example, if I want to say the example in medical image denialising means how the particular app, once we feed that paper into that AI tool, means that AI tool will study the entire paper and gives us this paper is meant for medical image denoising for MRI image or for CT image or for X-ray image, like that. What exactly the findings address in that paper, that particular point it will extract and produce it. So that we come to know, for this paper is meant for this particular objective, like that we come to know. Okay. So identifying the research gap. So previously we discussed about need for a research gap. So now we come to know how the AI tool will be used for identifying the research gap. So ChatGPT is a common tool which you can use it for identifying the research gap. So it's compare the paper, and it's similar to, you can use not only ChatGPT, you can use Claude, and you can use Perplexity, and you can use even Gen AI. Gen AI, those tools you can use it and get the research gap. Research gap in the sense feeding that particular paper or research literature to that particular AI tool. It will study the paper thoroughly and it will let us know what is the paper, what the paper address. So in that case, we can get the idea or the research gap very easily, not by reading, just reading the paper and asking the question, it will give the answer. Like methodological gap, data set gap in the sense, if they are using one single data means, maybe you may ask question like prompt like, is that good, is that data is appropriate for the entire research, something like that, means they will answer no, we have to go with some other data set. And you may ask another question like where we can get the data set, there it will direct to the place where it located. So these kind of questions clearly comes to know whether the data set gaps are there or not, then performance gaps and application gap and future research directions. So the entire things you can get it from the AI tools. So getting the information from the AI tools and manually, there is a huge difference. Previously, we have to sit and work from the starting to beginning to extract all the information, and it will take so much time. And want to study 150 papers, 100 to 150 paper means it will take 6 months time. But nowadays, within short time, you can get all the inputs. But the point is, you have to ask the AI tool what kind of things you want. The AI tool won't feeding the paper. AI tool won't understand and give you the results. You have to ask them. So in that case, you should know what sort of things we know to write a literature review. And the next one is like write literature review. You can use ChatGPT and Cetero. These are the things you can use it for, not for writing. You can use it for some grammar corrections and all. You can use it. You can write it in your own words and then use the ChatGPT for grammatical corrections and all. And for the citation, see, say for example, in the literature review, we may use nearly 100, 150 literature. And once we writing the literature, we may use the literature in our own format, say for APA format, or Chicago format, or whatever the format, IEEE format, whatever the format we plan, we can use that. But for the journal point of view, we can't supposed to use one single reference format. We have to go with multiple journal applications. Previously, once we go with the Springer, they use one literature format, and once we go with another elsewhere or IEEE, they have different format. So we can't simply stick with only one format. So for that only, Medley, Cetero, even ChatGPT also we need use for the citation style formatting. That will help us to make the even GenAI also. If you feed the final paper, it will understand the entire research reference and it will change according whatever style reference style you want. And size space you can use it for the paper formatting. Now, once you give that full paper, Once you upload the full paper, it will understand the paper, and if you once you choose the format process, it will make the format almost nearly 80 to 90% it will be accurate, not 100%. Definitely there may be a certain error. Maybe this in future they will sort it out, but right now they will give the final output almost 80 to 90% perfect formatted version. So that will also save time. Because we can't supposed to stick on one single channel. We have to go with multiple channels. At least we have to go with the 2 to 3 channels in the first lot. And if any channel get rejected, we have to go with another channel. So in that case, you can't simply change the format every time, and you can't simply go with the, every reference channel. For that, you can nowadays use the AI tools to make the changes and all, and that will conserve some time. Thank you. And in the afternoon section, we can go with any 1 or 2 AI tools, how to create that and how to use that particular AI tools for our paper processing. So any questions you may ask that. Thank you. Pradeep sir.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Participants, please, if you are having any questions or queries, you can ask now. Okay, Swamy sir,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you so much on behalf of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, ECE and EEE, and the management of St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering. I wholeheartedly thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure.
this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.